ADR. Promoting dialogue.
Good evening and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. Senegal's President Diomaye Faye holds high-stakes talks in Washington. Malian transitional MP jailed in Côte d'Ivoire for insulting President Ouattara. NPP's candidate Akwa Frigier declares intention to contest the Ablekuma North rerun.
I am contesting. I want Ablekuma North. Everybody should hear me and hear my voice. I am contesting this election and I am coming out victorious because I want that election.
And U.S. visa policy sparks diplomatic row as Nigeria speaks out.
But what the implication of this is that once you are applying for a visa that is not permanent residence, it's not for citizenship, that you are going to have just one single entry and it's for 3 months. And after 3 months, you must always renew it.
Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Imo Edit with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast. Let's begin with an update on the Senegalese President Diomaye Faye's official meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump as he held several high-level audiences in Washington with key economic and institutional players. President Faye first attended a working lunch at the White House alongside the presidents of Gabon, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau and Liberia. Sankle Janko has more details in the following report.
Trump praised Africa's exceptional economic potential and called for win-win partnerships based on trade and investment rather than aid. The U.S. president also emphasized the need for peace as a prerequisite for development, announcing an expanded U.S.-Africa summit in the fall to deepen these exchanges. Following the luncheon, Diomaye Faye met with a Boeing delegation led by Michael Shanbell, Executive Vice President of International Operations. Discussions focused on strengthening the partnership with Air Senegal, particularly through the acquisition of new aircraft, the development of local skills, and creation of skilled jobs in the aeronautics sector. The Senegalese head of state also met with officials from the Millennium Challenge Cooperation (MCC) to discuss prospects for enhanced cooperation in the context of ongoing and future structuring development projects in Senegal. Finally, he spoke with Senegalese executives working at the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank about current economic issues and opportunities for sustainable growth for the country. These meetings, which are part of his ongoing commitment to promoting strong and beneficial partnerships, illustrate the Senegalese president's strategy of placing economic development and national sovereignty at the heart of his diplomatic priorities.
Sankle Janko filed that report. Meanwhile, at least 201 intending migrants were intercepted and rescued by a Senegalese naval patrol team in the Saloum archipelago off the coast of the Fatick region. The interception was on the night of July 8 to 9, 2025, during a maritime surveillance operation while they attempted the Mediterranean crossing aboard makeshift boats. According to the Navy, the operation was conducted as part of the fight against illegal immigration. Those intercepted have since been handed over to the appropriate authorities, including the Gendarmerie and Social Welfare Services. Among those rescued were several women and children. Investigations are underway to determine their nationalities and the networks behind the attempted illegal departure. Elsewhere, Mamadou Hawa Gassama, a member of Mali's Transitional Parliament (CNT), has been in custody at Abidjan's Detention and Correction Center, MACA, since July 2, 2025. He has been charged with insulting the head of state, insult via the media, and false declaration following critical comments he made about Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara. Gosen Kodi completes the story.
According to his lawyer, Mamadou Ismaila Konate, the case stems from remarks Gassama made in September 2022 during an interview on Malian media. At the time, amid tensions over ECOWAS imposed sanctions on Mali following its 2020 and 2021 coups, Gassama accused Ouattara of being an enemy of Mali and claimed he had proof. The comments made in Bambara, one of Mali's official languages, were widely shared in video form. Gassama has admitted to being the person in the videos and author of the statements targeting the Ivorian president. Under Ivorian law, insulting the head of state via the media or social networks can lead to prison sentences of 1 to 5 years. His lawyer has highlighted his advanced age, state of health, membership in Mali's Transitional Assembly, and foreign nationality as factors in his defense while he awaits trial. This case comes against the backdrop of strained diplomatic relations between Côte d'Ivoire and Mali, which have deteriorated since Mali's military coups brought Colonel Assimi Goïta to power. President Ouattara has maintained a hard-line stance towards Mali's junta. Relations worsened further in July 2022 when Malian authorities arrested 49 Ivorian soldiers deployed as part of the UN mission in Mali. They were sentenced as mercenaries before eventually being pardoned 6 months later.
Augustin Coley filed a report staying in Côte d'Ivoire. Leader of the opposition Ivorian Popular Front (FPI), Pascal Afingezon, expressed serious concerns about the upcoming October 25 presidential election. During a meeting on Wednesday in Abidjan with a delegation from the Forum of Elders of West Africa, Afi described the political climate as troubling and incompatible with free and peaceful elections, citing a potential fourth-term candidacy by President Alassane Ouattara as a key point of tension. Chris Fatija brings us the details.
The FPI leader Pascal Afingezon questioned the credibility of the Independent Electoral Commission (IEC), calling for major reforms and recalling its role in the 2010-2011 crisis. He criticized the removal of prominent political figures such as Laurent Gbagbo, Tijani Chiam, Guillaume Soro, and Charles Blé Goudé from the electoral roll, viewing it as a threat to inclusivity. The Forum of Elders delegation, led by Boni Yaye, former Benin president, Goodluck Jonathan, Nigeria, and Mohamed Ibn Chambers, ECOWAS, visited Côte d'Ivoire to assess the pre-election situation and encourage peace and dialogue. According to the head of the forum delegation, Boni Yaye, this meeting aimed to take the pulse of the socio-political situation in Côte d'Ivoire, less than 4 months before the presidential election in October 2025, and to understand the challenges surrounding the electoral process by meeting the various stakeholders. After continued efforts towards ensuring democratic, credible and peaceful elections in the country, the forum, established by West African heads of state, aims to support stability across the region, particularly during electoral processes.
Christopher Ticho with that report.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
In Chad, a reconciliation agreement between the Ngambai and Fulbe communities of the Logon Occidental region was signed in Madako on July 5 and presented to the head of government on July 8 during a ceremony formalizing the process. This memorandum of understanding aims to end hostilities and restore peace after the tragic events, particularly in Mandakau last May, which weakened social cohesion between the two communities, causing the death of several dozen people, several injuries, and significant material damage. Abdulatan provides us details in this report.
The reconciliation agreement is intended to ease tensions in Mandakau in Longone Occidental and Oregomel in Mayaku-Kebbi West. Traditional chiefs, Al Fulde and Ngambe canton chiefs and administrative officials from both provinces are the signatories, with the High Council of Traditional Chieftaincy as facilitator. The details of the agreement have not been made public, but General Alain Mbonde Nande, head of the senatorial mission in the region, says the effects will be felt quickly. He explains that a monitoring committee has been created to monitor the implementation of the agreement and alert people to any disputes that might disturb the peace of the population in these areas. General Alain Mbonde Nande assures that the displaced populations can return to their homes and resume their agricultural and commercial activities normally. In addition to the agreement, the authorities have dispatched defense and security forces to calm tempers and stop any attempt at unrest on either side, but local actors are still calling for vigilance. Recall the Mandankau massacre led to the arrest of former Prime Minister Success Masra, accused of being the instigator despite his denials.
Abdullah with that report. Let's take you now to Ghana, where the opposition New Patriotic Party NPP parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North, Nana Akua Owusu-Afriyie, has firmly stated her intention to contest in the upcoming rerun election in the constituency despite the party's official decision not to participate. Speaking ahead of the polls, Madam Owusu-Afriyie expressed confidence in both her chances and the outcome. She added the result from 278 polling stations had already been collated, showing her in the lead by 349 votes, with only 3 polling stations remaining. Her comments come amid tensions surrounding the Electoral Commission's decision to rerun 19 polling stations of the election in Ablekuma North, a move the NPP leadership has rejected, describing it as unjust. Despite the party's official stance, Nana Akua Owusu-Afriyie's declaration suggests she is forging ahead with her campaign.
We went for election on 7 December, and I won this election with 34,613. My opponent had 34,199. We collated this thing together. My polling agents, their polling agents, we went through all that. And we have now collated 278 polling stations. Those 278 polling stations, I am leading. I am leading with 349. 349. We were left with 3 polling stations. And then the Electoral Commission came to Parliament, swore under oath that we are left with 3 polling stations. Overnight, we didn't know what happened. And then they said we are going to go back and collate 19 polling stations. Now, what I want to say or put on record is that darkness can never cover light. I am the light. I am the truth and the light. I am contesting. I want Ablekuma North. Everybody should hear me and hear my voice. I am contesting this election, and I am coming out victorious because I won that election, and God will ensure that justice. People were waiting for me to come out. Now, what it is that I knew I had won, and so I was waiting for the right thing. So that's why we went to court.
NPP parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North, Nana Akua Owusu-Afriyie, speaking there. Meanwhile, Ghana has recorded 7 new cases of Mpox as of July 6, pushing the country's total confirmed infections to 170, according to the latest update from the Ghana Health Services GHS. This comes on the heels of 30 cases reported on June 30, marking a steady but noticeable rise over the past week. Despite the uptick, health authorities maintain that the outbreak remains under control, with no new hospitalizations or fatalities recorded. You're listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, 94.9 FM Dakar. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Senegal's President Diomaye Faye holds high-stakes talks in Washington. Malian transitional MP jailed in Côte d'Ivoire for insulting President Wadr. NPP's candidate Owusu-Afriyie declares intention to contest the Ablekuma North rerun. Still ahead in the news, U.S. visa policy sparks diplomatic row as Nigeria speaks out. We don't have a guest interview on that and sports news. Please stay with us.
West Africa Democracy Radio. It's you speaking.
Don't forget, we are streaming live on wadr.org, and we urge you to join our live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria may be up against a new regime of visa regulations by the United States of America. Washington has announced the decision to slash the validity of non-immigrant visas for Nigerians to a single entry 3-month period. This development is so far drawing strong reactions in Nigeria and raising regional concerns over its wider implications. From Abuja, WDR's Usman Rama reports.
The Nigerian government has expressed deep concern over Washington's latest visa policy revision, which now restricts non-immigrant visas for Nigerian citizens to just 3 months with a single entry. In a statement by the Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesperson, Kimebe Ebiemfa described the move as troubling, particularly in light of the long-standing diplomatic, economic and security ties between Nigeria and the United States. While the U.S. Embassy in Abuja clarified that visas issued before July 8, 2025 remain valid under their original terms, the new restrictions will apply to all new applicants. This change is expected to have ripple effects beyond Nigeria's borders, affecting interregional business, student mobility and collaborative development initiatives across West Africa. Maurice Ebam, a legal practitioner, says the decision raises questions about reciprocity and the broader implications of perceived diplomatic imbalance.
We have the African Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. If we get it right, we have a blueprint already. We need to, they say God bless us with everything but curse us with bad leadership. We need to get it right. We need to be proactive. We need to be patriotic. We are not patriotic enough. We think that because consign you, because if you chop 3 square meals, the next person, the problem is not your problem. But as Nigerians, as Africa, we need to change this mindset. We need to re-educate ourselves.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs says diplomatic engagement is underway to seek a reversal or reconsideration of the policy. Nigeria is urging Washington to reflect on its global responsibilities and uphold principles of fairness, mutual respect, and cooperation. Analysts say the policy shift, if sustained, may not only strain U.S.-Nigeria relations, but could also trigger similar measures by other governments, complicating movement and partnerships for citizens of Africa's most populous nation and its neighbors. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
Meanwhile, in a latest development, the Nigerian presidency on Thursday denied claims that President Bola Tinubu stopped the issuance of 5-year multi-entry visas to United States citizens. Recall on Tuesday, the U.S. announced a major change to its visa policies for Nigeria, reducing the validity period and entry allowances for most non-immigrant. Presidential spokesman Bayo Ononuga said that no such directive was given and described the claims as misinformation. According to Ononuga, shortly after assuming office, President Tinubu directed all federal agencies to uphold Nigeria's international agreements and maintain reciprocal diplomatic policies. Ononuga noted that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had previously clarified Nigeria's position following the U.S. government's recent adjustment of its non-immigrant visa policy towards Nigerians. He, however, added that the Tinubu-led administration will continue to dialogue and engage with U.S. authorities to resolve any issues that have led to the recent development. Now, former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has highlighted both the achievements and current challenges facing the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Recognized as one of the most successful regional organizations in Africa, ECOWAS has played a pivotal role in fostering regional stability, economic development, and peace. However, Sirleaf expressed concern over recent signs of disunity among member states, stating that some countries in the region have decided to forge their path, which is most unfortunate. WDR's Monrovia correspondent Ibrahim Parker report.
Liberia's former president reiterated that strong leadership is needed to reunite and strengthen the bloc. Sirleaf praised Sierra Leone's president and ECOWAS chair Julius Maada Bio, noting his leadership combined with the expertise of seasoned African leaders like Ghana, Nigeria, and others could help foster cohesion among member states. She also warned of external forces and internal security threats, including border instability that could threaten regional stability.
ECOWAS has been very successful, but right now there are difficulties. Many of our states have decided that they do not want to continue to be part of this union, that they would prefer to seek another path in their search for progress. I think that's most unfortunate because we need all the voices in these tumultuous times, in these difficult global issues that we all are going to face.
She pointed to the African Continental Free Trade Area as a flagship initiative, but acknowledged that to secure the continent's future aspirations, such as the ambitious Africa 2063 blueprint, must be translated into tangible actions.
A new vision to achieve the integration of Africa. The African Continental Trade Agreement is our flagship operations. Not much has happened. Most of our countries are not integrated, and that requires a lot of infrastructure development.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf urged African leaders to collaborate with a shared purpose by building an inclusive, prosperous, and integrated Africa poised to face the future with confidence and strength. For Newslink on WADR, Ibrahim Parker, Monrovia.
Politics,
analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is A Guest,
Well, I guess interview takes us back to Nigeria, where the government has voiced strong concerns over a recent decision by the United States to limit non-immigrant visas for Nigerians just for 3-month single entry. For our guest interview, our correspondent Sumadamara speaks with international migration and development consultant Paul Nwankwo to unpack the implications of this development on Nigeria and the wider sub-region.
One, yes, a cause of worry. No, for another reason, which I'm going to explain quickly. But I think what the United States has done, in international diplomacy and relation, is based on reciprocity. Do me, I do you. Kind of the kind of policy you give us is what we return to you. Don't forget that before now, the U.S. used to grant 5 years visa to Nigerians, especially non-immigrant visa. The one that is not seeking permanent residence or citizenship can have a visa of up to 5 years. Initially it was 2 years, and later they got it to 5 years with multiple entry. But what the implication of this is that once you are applying for a visa that is not permanent residence, is not for citizenship, that you are going to have just one single entry and it's for 3 months, and after 3 months you must always renew it should you stay longer. So that is what the policy is about. Don't also forget that Nigeria has a policy of granting 1 year visa to United States citizens, renewable and all of that. So I think they have reviewed that. Like I said, it is about reciprocity. Whatever you give to me is what I give to you. But on the side of Nigerians who are traveling, this is where the problem is. It means that you have to go through the immigration, bureaucracy again each 3 months if you wish to stay more than 3 months, 90 days. So this is the problem here. And I think it's a source of worry, and I expect Nigerian diplomatic community, especially Nigerian government, to wade into this matter. Because as much as they think it is not a problem, it is going to create a lot of problems for people. Of course, we know that North America, especially the United States, is one of the places that Nigerian citizens like to go to for various reasons, migration, whatever it is, and all of that. So I think that it should be a worry, because for someone who is going to school, it means that every 90 days you have to be back to the United States, immigration department to clear yourself and get a renewal. And this may be a cost of 3 years, and it is a problem.
All right. Although the Foreign Affairs Ministry has released a statement in this regard, calling on the United States government to reconsider, but should this stay, how would you advise Nigerians who will definitely be affected by this policy? What would you advise them to do going forward?
Okay, my advice would be to Nigerians, because although the Nigerian government has asked the United States, but that does not mean Nigeria is a sovereign state as well as the United States. So they decide what they do with any country. It is now for you to decide how you respond. So for me, I think Nigerian government should up their diplomacy and be able to do, a lot of other, behind the scene negotiation, so that this will favor Nigerians who are traveling.
I know that over the years, organizations such as yours have been involved in advocating for regular migration. Do you think policies such as this will encourage people to, follow through the regular processes, or it will impact on your calls, and this may end up encouraging people following through the back door?
Yes, it will actually encourage following the back door even more. It will increase irregular migration, because as much as possible, people will also want to travel. But again, they will have to create other ways of beating the system.
That was Mr. Paul Nwankwo, an international migration and development consultant. And in sport news, Sankle is here, and there's plenty to talk about, especially with the ongoing WAFCON. Sankle, welcome.
Of course, there's a lot to talk about. Let's
fire on.
Let's begin with Zambia. And title ambitions, because unfortunately for Senegalese, Zambia showcased their determination to contend for the title at the Dakar Women's Africa Cup of Nations with a dramatic 3-2 victory over Senegal in a gripping, Group A clash on Wednesday at Stade Bolchou in Mohammedia. In a match filled with non-stop action, clinical finishes and standard individual performances, The Copper Queens remained composed under pressure despite being tested twice by the determined Senegalese team. Zambia held firm to secure all the 3 points and underlined their championship intent.
Indeed. Well, I mean, these girls really played well, especially
Barbara Banda.
No.
Kandananje.
I saw the team play and I was a bit worried. And I said, if they should face the Super Falcons, it's going to be a problem.
No, it's going to be an interesting game, I must say. But then let's see how it goes. But in the meantime, of course, host Morocco delivered a stunning performance to earn 4-2 victory over DR Congo in a high-energy group clash at the Dakar Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Morocco 24 on Wednesday evening. The win was a crucial boost for the host nation following their earlier draw against Zambia in the tournament opener.
My favorite and those I supported were the DRC girls. They tried, but it got bad after I think a penalty. Yes. It was 3-2, and then they couldn't help it. It was 4-2.
And the home support.
I really felt for them, really.
The home support is on Morocco's side because for them, they are the only team that you have the stadium full in jam packed.
Yes, anytime they exactly.
Aside from them,
and I think there's a lot CAF needs to do in terms of that participation.
Of course,
by
attendance.
Attendance
is key because unfortunately, aside from the home nation or the other countries, good games, but then people don't.
Stadiums are empty.
Right. I mean. But let's talk about the clash tonight, this Thursday, because Nigeria Super Falcons will become the first country to secure qualification to the quarterfinals of the WAFCON should they win tonight's game against Botswana about 30 minutes from now. Fresh off a commanding 3-0 win over Tunisia, the West African team will get 6 points from 2 matches, thus guaranteeing them a place in the last 8. The Super Falcons. We were watching their
preparation. There was a comment you made, should they win? They will win, obviously. Why would they say should they win?
Well, it's football.
The girls will win.
That's sports language for you. Should they win? Because it's 90 minutes.
The girls will beat Botswana. That's it.
That's it.
Period.
You seem so that they're going to beat Botswana.
Yes, I have to be. I mean, 9 times winner.
Record winners. That's right.
Exactly.
But they've not been doing well recently.
Don't worry. That will change.
Let's see that happens tonight. Of course, we'll give you update on that. In the meantime, let's shift our attention. But before that, just before we came on air, of course, Tunisia were held to a goalless draw against Algeria neighbors. That was a very interesting.
It was a firecracker. It was Nigeria, Ghana in the making play.
Well, let's look at other stories beyond our shows because European champions Paris Saint-Germain delivered a commanding performance on Wednesday, thrashing Spanish powerhouse Real Madrid 4-0 in the Club World Cup semi-final. The emphatic victory propels them, that is PSG, into the final where they will face Chelsea with a chance to cap off a historic dominant season by claiming a 5th major trophy.
In the replay, I was watching, is this the Real Madrid that we know?
We know?
No, 4-0.
But mind you, this Paris Saint-Germain team, they've been described as a machine. They've been described, that's how they've been, because, they are so good, Imo.
Yeah, no, they are.
They are so good.
Fast attack, beautiful defense, offensive, super.
Some people said, you love football. Some people say Kylian Mbappe is a cause. Would you say?
No, it's not. It's not just his time.
That's what.
It's not just his time.
It's not just his time.
No.
Well, what do you make of the final quickly between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain?
Well, I think for the English followers, I follow more of the English clubs, so I would want Chelsea to pick the day. But at the same time, PSG is good. Let's give it to them.
Let's give it to them.
But again, if it goes Chelsea's way, we're fine with it.
Well, that's it for sports.
And indeed, thank you so much, Sankule. And that's it on this edition of Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio 94.9 FM Dakar. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Sheng Jai for the technical support. Do keep the conversation coming on all of our social media platforms: X, Instagram, at WDL English, and Facebook West Africa Democracy Radio English Service. Coming up at the bottom of the hour is our flagship environment program, Enviroscope. I am Imo Edet. Good evening.
And many thanks to you